Good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing? It's your boy Morris here. What we're gonna do today is we're just gonna do a quick review of our explicit formulas and our recursive formulas for both arithmetic and geometric series. All right. So here, as you can see here, I went ahead and I did y'all a favor. I already have the explicit formula for arithmetic, and I have the recursive formula here for arithmetic. Again, f of x is equals to a0 plus the common difference times x. And in recursive, it's a to the n is equals to a n minus 1 plus the common difference. All right. And also remember that whenever you write in recursive, you have to give a of 1, which is equals to your first term. All right. And I also did the same thing for geometric sequence here. All right. So we got our explicit formula is f of x is equals to a1 times r, where r is your common ratio, a1 is your first term. All right, raised to the x minus 1. And here we have a of n is equals to your common ratio, again, the common ratio, which is r, times a to the n minus 1, where a to the n minus 1 represents your previous term. Again, we have to also list a1, which is equals to your first term. All right, so again, you can pause the video, you can copy this, include it in your notes. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at a few examples. All right, so I already have my examples pre-written here for you guys. So all we're going to do here is we're just going to work a few problems. All right, again, remember, you can always pause the video and work on it. So the first problem that we're going to look at here is I want to see what's happening. How does it change from my first to my second term? So I realized that from my first to my second term here, they subtracted 2. Same thing happened here. They added -2. And, the same thing happened, -2. So I can say that my common difference here, it's a common difference because they multiply or add, is equals to -2. So now I got to list my two formulas here. All right, I got to list my arithmetic, my explicit, and I got to list my recursive. So with explicit, it's equals to f of x is equals to, all right, I got to find my previous term. So if they subtracted 2 here and it goes, right, the term before this, if I add 2 here, it's going to give me -2. All right, it's going to give me -2. And then it's going to be, if I go back and I look at my formula, it says plus the common difference. But the common difference is -2. So it ends up being -2 times x. All right, and this is my explicit formula. For my let's go ahead and change the ink. So for my recursive, right, recursive is equals to, I'm gonna put a dash there. So recursive is a of n, which is my nth term, is equals to, if I go back and I look at what my recursive says, it's equals to my previous term, which is a of n minus 1 plus my common difference. My common difference here is -2, so it's going to be -2. But also, one important thing that we got to list a of 1, which is my first term, is equals to -4. Boom. We're finished. Easy peasy. All right. So once you have your common difference, it's easy to go ahead and write the formula here. So for explicit, this is my formula for explicit. So let me go ahead and box that. All right. And for recursive, this is what I listed. All right. Boom. So let's look at the second one. How does it change? So I look here and it changed from here to here. How does it change from here to here? I always want to figure that out, right? But when I realize here, it changed by +8. They add 8 each time. Okay. So here, my common difference is equals to +8. So with the explicit, I'm going to do the explicit just like I did before. Explicit, boom, f of x is equals to, what does f of x equals to? So f of x is equals to, what's my previous term here, my a of 0 term? I need to figure that out, right? So my a of 0, if they add a here, what if I subtract a? It's going to be what? 1. So it's going to be 1 plus 8x. All right? Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to do my recursive. So recursive, boom, is a of n is equals to, in recursive, as you can see, the formula here is going to be what? A of n minus 1, and then it comes back where it says it's going to be plus my common difference. So plus 8. But again, remember, we have to always list our A of 1 term, which is our first term, which is 9. All right? So, boom. Box my answer explicit, and I'm going to box it for recursive. All right? So, that's the first part. So, now let's look at a few geometric problems here. All right? So, I look at my first problem here, and I got to figure out what's happening. How does it change from the first to the second? How do I know it's geometric? Remember, with arithmetic, it's adding or subtracting. But with geometric, they multiply or divide. So here, it goes from 2 to 6. They multiply by 3, right? They multiply 6 by 3 to get 18. So I realize that my common ratio is equals to 3. All right. So now, because my common ratio is 3 here, I can go ahead and find my explicit formula. All right. So explicit, again, boom, I'm going to say f of x. If you look back at my explicit formula, all right, it says it's going to be equals to a1, which is your first term, which is 2. So it's going to be 2 times r, which is 3 here, raised to the n minus 1. Not n, but x, sorry. X minus 1. All right. So now I got to do my recursive. Recursive, boom. We're going to use a of n. All right. So I go to a of n is equals to my common ratio, which is what? What's my common ratio? It is 2. So it's 2 times a to the n minus 1. That's all it is. But what am I leaving here? All right. What am I leaving here? I got to make sure that I go back. I got to make sure that I go back here. Well, sorry guys, my common ratio here. Remember, this one is recursive, so it's a common. So here, and I got to say a of 1 is equals to 2. But this right here is supposed to be 3, not 2. All right, so this is 3, not 2. All right, so boom, formula here, explicit, and this is for recursive. All right, so let's look at one more example real quick here. All right, so we're gonna look at one more example here real quick. So here, how does it change? I realize that they multiply by a half, here, and the same thing. So my common ratio is equals to 1/2. So we're doing my explicit f of x is equals to, again with explicit, remember it's a1, so it's my first term, which is 28. So it's going to be 28 times r, which is 1/2. All right, and it's going to be raised to the x minus 1. All right, now if I'm doing my recursive, it's sorry, it's going to be an, which is equals to, first thing that we're going to put is our common ratio, which is what? 1/2. So it's going to be 1/2 times what? A to the n minus 1. But again, remember, I'm going to say, what do we need to make sure we have here? We're going to list our first term, which is a of 1 is equals to 28. Boom. And there we have it. So as you can see, it's nothing crazy. Just got to identify a common ratio and our common difference, and then we should be good from there. All right. Again, if you have any questions, just let me know. Myself or Mr. Recursive, come to office hours, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys. All right. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely weekend. All right.